Hey, hello. So I'm going to walk very carefully here as I try to talk. I got a new phone, so hopefully the video quality is a little better than some of my others, I guess. But snow. This is the Washington State University campus, by the way, or at least some of it. I'm on my lunch break. Walking to my car to go to my house to get some food. But one thing I guess that's on my mind and kind of trying to reinforce and remind myself of, partially influenced by, I guess, a lot of things, but explicitly I read a Twitter post by Jordan Peterson, who the first video I saw of him, I thought was kind of impressed. I mean, he seemed like an unusual guy in that I frankly was very drawn in, just because he's clearly well-read, and I think it was hard for me to even understand why I felt so drawn and interested, and like I had something to learn and be benefited, how I guess I could be benefited by listening to someone like him. And I think the combination of unusual intelligence, his exposure to other intelligent people, and his seemingly very good understanding of them, combined with what I think is what ultimately sets him apart from a lot of other relatively intelligent people, is his honesty. He seems to be blatantly honest, and I guess it's three things. He's intelligent, he's well-read, his knowledge is relatively good, he's very honest, and he also wants to help people. That is like such a good combination, and it's rare. But anyway, I read a tweet, and I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was something like someone had actually tweeted him saying they're having a hard time getting stuff done. You know, where should they start? And he said they should aim lower, and once they've accomplished that, you know, move on from there. Essentially, that's a huge paraphrase and not exactly what was going on, but that's the basic idea. And I thought, like most things, I can't help but think they're almost hard to see how, in a sense, simple and brilliant they really are. But there's a lot of other people that say similar things, like you got to start small. And I thought it was just interesting the way he said, aim your sights lower. And I think that's so true. And just in my own life, trying to get stuff done and have, you know, really high goals, and just realizing the importance of being explicit in what you're aiming for, how important that is, and like even writing them down, and what you want in life and things like that. What is it that you even want? But also, once you have these, you know, if you could have anything you wanted, you know, you have those written down, or you have your long-term and your short-term goals. But yeah, once you have your goals, the next part is it's easy to look at these lofty values, these ideals that you have, and then immediately get discouraged. At least it is for me. And I'm realizing one of the ways to stay motivated and avoid being discouraged is to set very small goals for the immediate. Like, look at these lofty things. What are the tiniest things I could do today to help make, you know, get me closer to that ideal? Yeah, just setting really small goals, like almost like just telling yourself you're going to do the smallest amount possible. Like, simply, for me sometimes it's simply like, I'm going to look at this today. I'm going to take a couple minutes, and if nothing else, just write down what I need to do. Don't even necessarily act on them. And a lot of times just starting is the hardest part, and if I can just do that, things compile quickly. And also, you have I think you get a high off of accomplishing even those tiny little things. Get onto my vehicle here. Yeah, you get a high accomplishing those little things, and it helps you continue, and you continue long enough, and you actually start accomplishing real things more than just the list itself. Little steps have been made, and that huge goal you had becomes more and more clear, becomes something that, yeah, actually I think I can actually achieve that. And another thing is, you start, this is a little bit off topic, but you start becoming the person that is that end goal. Anyway, I just realizing that just doing something, even if it seems really small, is hard to underestimate how useful and productive that is. It's counterintuitive to think that doing something small is so valuable, I think, but it really is. And you know, I, like everyone, have a hard time staying motivated and keeping my eye, you know, realizing that that future goal is valuable enough to sacrifice now for it. And if I can just do a tiny bit every day, it keeps that goal alive, and actually like makes it more powerful, and it helps me be more willing to sacrifice now for that. Not to mention, when you start getting in the habit of sacrificing daily, to doing those little things daily, it becomes easier as well, because you're setting a precedent for yourself, and your standard just slowly gets higher because you've just eased into it, and you start becoming a better person and able to do more. And like your minimum, what you would consider a minimum and a lazy day, is now much more productive than it used to be. And then you also have the likely chance of becoming so much more confident in what you are capable of, because you do that enough. You do those tiny little steps over enough time, and you will be way ahead of your friends. And once you get to that point, your confidence in yourself will realistically grow, because you've proven it, that you're a person that can accomplish something, that can set these goals and make them happen, and it only perpetuates itself further. And anyway, I'm saying that because you know, when I set this goal in my own head, how am I going to make it happen? I think one of the first things for me is, one, you have to have a goal. To make a goal happen, you have to know where you're headed. You have to hone your vision in on something specific, so you can cut out the other things that aren't valuable to you. You have to have a value structure to know what your values are and how to aim for it. But also, the other thing after that, which honestly I think finding what your goals are it's actually a lot harder than people think. In a certain sense, you'd think it'd be so easy, because, you know, people are so selfish, right? Like how could them defining what they want in life be so hard? But for me, at least, and I think for most people, that is a lot harder than it sounds like. And even as you set certain values out there that you want to get, as you're getting closer to them, you realize what you actually value is slightly different, and maybe those things aren't as good as you thought, and so you want to go for something slightly different, and you change as a person. Hopefully you're growing, and your values are you're fighting for what truly is more valuable. And I mean, it's easy to imagine that, you know, when you were a little kid, what you valued was different than when you were, you know, in junior high versus high school versus college. You know, when you have a family, like, what you see as most valuable slowly changes over time, and honestly, that can be a very good thing. But and I'm just recognizing that it's actually harder, and I think in a certain sense, like, selfish has such a negative connotation to it, and selfish may in the word itself be a negative thing. Like, selfish may mean something that has to be bad, but I do think there's a type of good selfishness, a type of what is better, fighting for what is actually better. That is a good thing. I would strongly argue, we do not have enough people in this world fighting for good things for them. I think that really the best thing for them should include other people, and it will include other people if they have a right perspective. That's a different topic, but just focusing, once you have those things, then just set the tiniest little goals every day. Use something like Google Keep. You know, put things on your calendar that'll automatically remind you. Another thing I do is I change my homepage to my Google Keep. Google Keep's like a list, a way to keep lists and notes, and it'll just automatically come up to that, so I can't help but be faced with reminders of the things that I'm working towards in a day, and helps keep me focused and on track. But really, I just try to do tiny little steps, and it's such a stupid, simple recommendation, I guess. Such a silly, simple thing to live by, and it is very powerful. And I feel like if we're not doing the easy stuff like that, you know, like, how are we ever going to get anywhere? We have to do things like that. Set little goals. Just slowly better yourself, you know, every day. That's another Jordan Peterson thing, is don't compare yourself to where other people are today. Compare yourself to where you were yesterday. Just slowly improve from where you're at, and it motivates you to become better, and it will perpetuate itself. Anyway, that is my rant for today. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this if you made it all the way through. Anyway, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on Jordan Peterson. I feel like he's a recent phenomenon, just like blown up the internet in sorts for such an intellectual. I think he's drawn a lot of attention, and I think rightfully so. Nobody's perfect, but I think he's giving out really good information, and I think it's gonna help people change for the better. Anyway, I will talk to you later. Have a great day. I'm out of here.